A test vote on a bipartisan budget is scheduled for Tuesday. Both Democrat and Republican leaders say they expect to get the 60 votes needed to pass it. The bill erases $63 billion in automatic spending cuts and sets spending levels for the next 2 years. That's designed to eliminate the threat of another government shutdown. The bill also raises $65 billion in revenue, but without raising taxes. Still, some Republican senators plan to oppose the bill on grounds it doesn't address debt reduction. So how close are we to ending the threat of government shutdowns? The budget battle is our topic this half hour. We want to know what you think. Share your thoughts on Facebook and on Twitter. Right now, Chris Tritico, Jackie Bally, and Mustafa Tamiz are in the newsroom. And what are your thoughts, guys?
Well, to answer your question, the threat of a government shutdown appears to be averted at least for the next 2 years, which oddly enough gets them past the next election cycle. I wonder if they thought about that. And we need to stop this cycle of threatening to shut down the government and get back to the business of governing. There are a lot of people who say that what the Republicans are doing in passing this budget is not good for the country. I completely disagree. Having continual gridlock in Washington and not getting any budget deals passed, not approving anything that the president asked for, regardless of who the president is not good for the country. And it's time for this to stop, Mustafa Tamiz. Now, this budget deal doesn't address a lot of things that is at the core of what Republicans want, and that's addressing out-of-control spending. But it's still positive, is it not?
No, it's positive, but this Congress, 113 Congress, has been probably, arguably, one of the worst Congress we've had in the history of our country. And John Boehner, although he was right on this, he's been one of the worst speakers of the House. He's been completely ineffective.
Is that his fault or is that the Tea Party's fault?
Well, he has responsibility in that. You know, for a long time he was supporting Tea Party issues. Now he seems to be coming more to the business side of the Republican Party and pushing back against the Tea Party. But he's never had control over his caucus. And as Speaker of the House, if you don't have control over your caucus, then that means that, you know, the Congress is not going to run. And so he's trying to assert control back. I don't think he's going to be able to. What I would hope before they vote John Boehner out is that he puts immigration to the floor of the Congress and allow people to vote on that.
They don't have time. He's going to get voted for in January, I think. John Boehner came out really hard on Tea Party groups this week after he announced this is the deal we're going to approve. He came out, took a hard shot at the Tea Party groups. Is he drawing a red line in the sand for the Tea Party?
Well, I think Tea Party members and conservatives need to be concerned because, as you mentioned, a lot of the issues that we were hoping to be addressed in this budget cycle are not being addressed. But it's not just Tea Party members. Progressives are not happy with this. I can't believe I'm about to quote something Nancy Pelosi said, but she said, embrace the suck. You know, she said, I don't like this either. So you have fighting on this particular item from both sides. To answer your question specifically, yes, Boehner has been more, he has embraced the philosophies of the Tea Party, and in this particular instance, he is now saying, let's move on. But this gesture is more symbolic than it is substantive, because we didn't address a lot of the key issues on either side. Both parties are saying a lot of the issues that we wanted to see happen have not been addressed. But he, as the speaker, is trying to say, well, let's move on
let's get past this.
And let's get past it.
All right. I'm gonna come back and talk about that some more. We got to go to Domily. She's monitoring our social media accounts. How easy that flowed right off my...
Yeah. Wait, hey, I just don't know how to handle this. Is Jackie Bally getting sick again? Did she just quote Pelosi?
I know.
And
I can't believe it either.
With a smile on her face, too.
I can't believe it either.
I can't believe these things. Are these things working this morning?
It's the holiday season.
I guess so. All right, on Facebook, Michael Bowler says, in reality, this budget deal is just business as usual. He says spending increases to favor special interests with promises of cuts that will never materialize in the future. Will it ever happen, guys?
Well, really, the issue is not a special interest. The pork barrel spending and the tags that we have is minuscule compared to what we're spending on two issues, and that's Social Security and Medicare and the military. And until somebody sits down and says these are the things that are really driving the budget deficits, and we do something about how we're going to handle that, we're never going to control spending in the United States, Mustafa Tamiz.
Oh, and this budget was put together by Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan was the architect of that. It seems like since John Boehner has made his comments, the fire has been away from Paul Ryan, where it really does belong. He's the one that negotiated this. But this is the part of a compromise. When you make a compromise, you have both polar extremes of both parties
who aren't happy,
and that's the whole function of this. So I'm glad that they've done this. I'm glad that we have a bill. You know, but I would like to see a change in Congress.
Doesn't it appear, Jackie Bowden, that both Paul Ryan and John Boehner recognize that shutting down the government comes back at the next election to hurt the Republicans and not the Democrats?
Shutting down the government hurts everybody, especially us, the
about
citizens and the taxpayers. The election, I think Republicans need to just sit back, let this Obamacare continue to implode, and because we will see a huge turnover in my party. We will take over the seats that we need to because of the implosion of this horrible Obamacare. So I think we need to just sit back and let everything happen.
And I know you want to come back in. We got to go. It's over. It all comes back to Obamacare every time.
That Nancy Pelosi comment went out the window.
Right out the window.
We'll be back next week with some really, really good stories.
Looking forward to it. Jackie, we kid you because we love you.
Love you back. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.